Years ago, I think it was in the late '90s or early 2000s. I forget which, but I did a big campaign in Poland because Poland had this extraordinary organic agricultural system. And the
Yeah.
reason, when it was a communist country, they didn't have money to buy chemicals. And you had a lot of small farms that were self sufficient. And they were, the farms were very diverse. They'd have a cow, they'd have a horse, a couple of cows, a couple of horses. They'd have a chicken coop. A lot of them had pigeons, which they ate over there. And they would, and then there were, in every town, there were local abattoirs. So there were, which is, of course, a slaughterhouse, a little slaughterhouse where you could slaughter one hog a day or one,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and then they'd make this kielbasa, which was famous all over the world. And that's where Polish kielbasa comes from. It comes from these 4,000 little abattoirs that, didn't have any safety regulations. There was no, it was just farmers doing what they'd been doing for 10,000 years, killing their own beef. And of course, back in the old days, there was a premium on hygiene, because if you were known for selling bad stuff that made people sick, you'd be out of business. So that was the safety regulation, really.
That's right.
Market. And then Smithfield wanted to come in and take over hog production in Poland. Oh, it bribed offered a bribe to a state official called Andrzej Lepper, who then turned them in. He told me that the second guy in command of Smithfield offered him $1 million bribe. And the bribe was to pass legislation, which they did end up passing, although Lepper refused to do it. But it was legislation that said you could not operate. Smithfield had come in and bought the old Soviet slaughterhouses, which were huge. They were like the state-owned operation, and then it was modernizing them. But it passed a law simultaneously that it sponsored a law, which was then passed, that said that you could not operate a slaughterhouse in Poland unless you had laser automated faucets in your bathrooms. And those are the kind of faucets you see, if you go into an airport bathroom and you don't have to touch anything, you can, you can just wave your hand under the faucet.
Right.
Well, of course, none of these local abattoirs could afford that.
Right.
In one fell swoop, Smithfield put every one of its competitors out of business.
Yes.
By requiring a piece of technology that none of them needed and nobody could afford except for Smithfield.
Yes.
Oh, it was a purposeful, and then of course Smithfield was purchased by the Chinese. It's now a Chinese company, and it owns, I don't know, 30%, 40% of the hog production in our country. And it's really, we're in a colonial model